What's going on, y'all? This is DJ Neil Armstrong of the Almighty Fit Platoon DJs, straight out of NYC. Former tour DJ for Jay-Z, 2008, 2009, and current ADIDAS Global Ambassador. How I started DJing, I guess I was a battle DJ. I love the battle stuff. Like if you ever seen the movie Juice, the battle, you know, that Q wins, or he doesn't actually win because he has to stop. He gets arrested, basically. But yeah, that whole battle scene really just captured my attention, and I was fortunate enough to grow up in New York City during the golden era of hip-hop, and I got to see, man, I was at the Palladium when they filmed the scenario, the scene that's in the video. I was there. I saw firsthand Biggie Smalls perform Party and B with Tupac. Tupac was on stage. I saw that firsthand. Later on, I've gotten to perform with, pick someone. I've been on stage with Beyonce. I've been on stage with Rihanna. I've been on stage with Kanye. I DJ'd for the President of the United States for his inauguration, and you know, it went from being a fan to being able to do all that. I guess at some point, you know, I was so into hip-hop that I just didn't want to watch it anymore. I wanted to be involved in it, and DJing is what called me. And the first thing that really called me was the DJ battles, and then it turned into making mixtapes, and the mixtapes fell into the right people's hands. One in particular was this girl named Vashti Kola, who is she's like this downtown New York it girl. She has her own Jordan. She's the only girl who has a Jordan, and she used to work for Jay at Def Jam, and Jay asked her one time, like, yeah, I need a DJ for the new tour, like someone who does what A-Track does. And she was like, well, you should work with Neil. And that was pretty much that. And yeah, it started from very humble beginnings to, you know, doing what I'm doing now, and of course me being out here, not a what you all. Tour stories with Jay. I mean, I have a lot, obviously. I mentioned stuff. I mean, like, some stuff were like, you know, there was stuff that, like, I don't know, people might find interesting. Like, I think after the inauguration, we opened up a bottle of Ace that was probably this high. It cost like $50,000, and we opened it by mistake. Like, dumb stuff like that. But I've been on a G4. I flew to Nigeria with him. Like, I don't know. There was one time. I'll tell two stories. I'll tell one that kind of is like, you know, cool to me on a professional level, and then another one where just something kind of cool that would happen to anybody, I guess. Not anybody, but, you know. Anyway, let me tell the stories. So first story is when we went to Nigeria. Now, Nigeria is like a very, there's people who are like super rich, and then everyone else, basically. So it's extremely undeveloped, and they were literally building the stage while we were there. Literally, they were painting the floor. The floor was wet, and they had messed up. Jay, the whole reason that Jay had hired me is because he needed a turntablist who worked with a band, and they messed up, and they didn't have any band equipment. So it turned into a real normal hip-hop show. It was me, Memphis Bleak, and Jay-Z on stage, and that was just us three together, like what it used to be, you know, MCs and a DJ. And I'll tell this little interesting tidbit. Jay's nickname for me was Nervous. He used to call me Nervous Neil, and not that I was nervous, but I'm not like a boastful person. I'm, you know, humble. I'll never talk about what I do and be like, yo, I'm gonna kill it. I'm not, you know, I'm just not like that. I'm very quiet, very subdued, and, you know, I'll let my hands do the talking. So he took that as, you know, yo, why you all so quiet? Why you all so nervous? And he thought I was gonna mess up the show because this was a totally unrehearsed, you know, and we had never done this before. We were always doing stuff with the band, and he just like, you know, he didn't assume, but he was like, man, Neil, I don't think Neil can handle this. And we do the show, and you know, that type of hip hop is really what you know, like intimate crowds, the MC, the DJ, just, you know, real close. And we do the show, and afterwards we get on the plane back to London or wherever we're heading out, and he says, I get a call back from his manager, John Manelli, and John's like, yo, Jay wants to talk to you. And this is probably the only time that Jay ever gave me props in front of people. And we were all in the plane, and Jay was like, yo, you know, I was really worried about you, but you did a good job. You killed it, man. And he was like, yo, we need to have a drink. We toasted. He was like, to Neil, you know, all that. You know, you did a great job. And that was the only time in public he ever gave me props. All the other times he would, you know, nervous, come over here, you know, like that. So that was a cool thing, you know, like to get that type of, you know, thanks, especially from someone like Jay. And yeah, that was a memory that'll all stick out. Another, like, you know, less like bigging myself up memory that I'll always have is, you know, like when you're with your boys and you rap a song together, and you know, you just rhyme, you know. And we were doing the shows in Houston, I guess, and Bun B had come out. So we did a show where we were just rehearsing and trying to figure out where we were gonna cut the music. And me and Jay rhymed Pimp C's part word for word, like, you know, just sitting here going back and forth. And you know, like that's to me is like what hip hop is. I could care less about the $50,000 champagne. It's, you know, that, like, just that, like, it was like we were sitting on a stoop rapping Pimp C's lyrics. You know, to me, like, that was really ill. Afterwards I thought about it, I was like, wow, that's crazy. You know, that's a story that not many people get to say they've done. So I'll leave those two. There are, of course, you know, touring gets crazy. It can, or it also is a lot of work. So it's not like I'm just chilling. When I was on tour, it was work, constant work. So I'm actually kind of happy that I'm not right now. Yeah. For sure. So I'm touring for the 10-year anniversary of Sweeet. This is this box set that I put together. Actually, I'm gonna open this up so you can kind of see what's going on. Well, it's gonna be hard for me to do both of this. Hold on. So there's actually 6 CDs in this box set, and basically 10 years ago, actually it was last year, so 11 years now, right? I made a mixtape series called Sweeet, and it was actually inspired by these guys named Jibo the Pro and Double R, who used to make mixtapes in the late 80s, early 90s that used 4 tracks. So they used to do elaborate blends, and like they would have a cappella verses of Tretch, and then the beat would drop and another beat would fall in, and they would do remixes of New Edition songs with hip-hop beats and this, that, and the other. And I remember hearing that and being like, man, you know, the art form is a little lost. This stuff hasn't really been done as much, and not that there wasn't other DJs doing it. Riz, Spin Bad, and Jibo the Pro, and all of them, of course, and Tony Touch, blah blah blah. You know, list goes on and on. But coming from the turntables background, it was different, because at the time, like, if you were turntables, all you did was scratch. That's it. Or battle, or beat juggle, or listen to Aphex Twin and like weird music and yak balls. You're kind of different. You were underground. So for me to put a CD that had like Stevie Wonder and Mary Jane Girls, it was a departure from what most of the turntables kids were doing. And I kind of did it despite, you know, everybody at the time like loving Wu-Tang and you didn't love Wu-Tang, you love Puffy, and I kind of just did my own thing, and it turns out good music, classic music is just good music. You know, a lot of people ended up loving it. I made sequels, Bittersweet, another one called Smooth, and then I just called the next one Sweet Part 2, Sweet Part 3. Sweet Part 3 is the newest one, and I put all of the CDs together in a, you know, a nice commemorative box set that really chronicles the work that I did. And bottom line is, it's just about, like, you know, good lovey-dovey music. You're not gonna want to listen to this when you're doing a drive-by with your friends, but when you're with a girl, you're probably gonna end up with children, so it's dangerous. But yeah, it's one of my Sweet was one of my favorite mixtapes, and all the accolades that I've gotten that I previously spoke about were because of this mixtape in particular, Sweet. Okay, so brand new year. I'm still doing a lot of stuff with ADIDAS, of course. Actually, the NBA All-Star Game's coming up, so I have some stuff with them. This actually just dropped, so this is pretty new. It's available for sale in Canada. Play the Record carries it out in Toronto, and I'm sure they could ship it for way cheaper than our guys out in New York. So you can order it from there. In New York, just go to my website, or if you're on the web, go to djneilarmstrong.com, and there's links to pick up this stuff. More mixtapes I'm going to be doing. I did like a project with Amon Shumpert recently that just came out on the 21st, so 6 days ago I made that. And I'm a huge Knicks fan, not the Nets, the Knicks. Let's get it straight, all right? And Amon Shumpert recently came back from an 8.5-month injury, and he also happens to rap. So I put together for him and ADIDAS this like little mini mix chronicling his changes, like what he's gone through, his injury, through his songs, basically. And so that's something to look out for. I'll probably be heading back up around this way sooner or later again, so check me up out here. Yo, this is DJ Neil Armstrong, and you heard this by word of mouth. Peace.